Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is What's Trending. Each week, we have different guests come and share fascinating topics. Today is no exception. So sit down, relax, whatever you're doing. We're happy that you're here. You're in for some entertainment, education, inspiration, and hope. My co-host is Cathy Fulton. Let's bring her out and give her a proper introduction. Hello, Cathy. Welcome.
Hey, good morning.
So
How
nice
are you?
To see you. I'm great, thanks. How are you, especially after the show yesterday, Woman's Prerogative?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I'm going to tell you, I'm really excited about this show this morning because mixed martial arts, it's not something that I have. I mean, full disclosure, I've never karate chopped anybody, and see, that's the misinformation that's out
Have
there.
you thought
I know
about
that
it, though?
I thought about it, but I figured it would be worse for me in the end. But I can't wait to hear what they have to say. I know it's going to be really informative and take a lot of misinformation that's out there about it, because I think it offers so many advantages. So I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
And I think mixed martial arts were very popular. I want to say the 70s or 80s. And then I think it's sort of, we didn't hear much about it except in movies. And I think there's a big push. It's coming back. You see a lot of professional athletes who are in this field, and they're in incredible shape. It's amazing. So I'm excited to bring our guests out as well. But first, I'm going to spotlight you. We have new audiences joining us all the time. We have our new radio stations in addition to the TV stations. And I'd love you to share with our audience about your work here on the platform and your work in your business. How do you help people, Cathy?
Well, so away from this platform, I have had an interior design firm for 22 years, which is really hard to believe. And the bottom line, what I do is I help people create beautiful spaces that they love to live in. And some of the most common requests that we have, whether it's remodeling or new construction, are to design or redesign kitchens, bathrooms, family rooms, and basements. That's a huge request. And then also what is growing in leaps and bounds, and I think it's due to the pandemic and everyone being at home, is people are wanting assistance creating these luxury staycation environments in their backyards. So, and that's something that I've done for a long, long time. And you really do need someone with a lot of expertise, because designing a space in the interiors is much different from the exterior. It's a completely different animal. But also, what I do on this platform is I am co-hosting, obviously, this show with you, What's Trending, and we talk about anything and everything. It's the latest, it's the greatest, and it's designed to be extremely informative so that you walk away going, wow, I didn't know that. Glad I tuned in. And so that's the kind of experience that we want you to have here. I also am a talking head, and it's really all about design topics. And this week, right after this show, I'm going to be showcasing, I think it's 24 before and after shots of kitchens. So if you're about to redesign your kitchen, make sure you tune in. Don't change that dial. And then, as you said, I'm also on a panel, and it's called Women's Prerogative, and it airs every Wednesday at 4 p.m. And we just talk about all kinds of women issues. And it couldn't have been more perfect to kick off the show yesterday, particularly with everything that's going on in, I guess, really the world of politics per the Roe versus Wade. So tune in.
Absolutely. I mentioned, as you know, I was backstage producing the show, and I really wanted to just pop right in and add in some comments that I had about changing your name when you get married. And so, anyway, it's a
Yeah,
great show.
I wish you would have. The more, the merrier.
Well, for right now, we are going to bring our guests out. And as we both mentioned, we're super excited to learn more
Yes.
about this topic. And I think I'm just putting it out there. We'll have a discussion. I think this is something that mixed martial arts that maybe could be for the whole family, everyone to do together, and a bonding experience and get in shape and strengthen yourself mentally and physically. So our guests are joining us. Their names are Diana and Vivek Nakarmi, and they're president and vice president at Pentagon MMA Mixed Martial Arts. Let's bring them out and welcome them to the program. Hi there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So how'd we do on our conversation? Are we in touch at all with what mixed martial arts are? Is it something for the family? Is it something any of us can do?
Absolutely. Actually, we have classes starting at age 5. We
Wow.
have a lot of family members that train in different programs. We have the kids, the parents training in Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, and then they hang out. The kids hang out and wait for the parents to finish class. So it's really a family affair, and it's a lot of fun.
And we're going to get into your background and why you're passionate about this. But just for people who are in the audience thinking, wow, this sounds kind of interesting. Do you have to have some kind of fitness requirement? Is it any bottom line foundational things that you need to be able to embark into this?
That's kind of like a misconception of people, like, or I would say maybe like self-awareness a little bit about their conditioning. So sometimes they will say, well, hey, I'm out of shape, is this for me? And actually mixed martial arts is a good way to get in shape and get fit and healthy. We have number of students, adult students, that were having weight challenges, and were on like kind of borderline diabetes, and some of the students have like diabetes and they had to lose weight. So the doctor recommended that they go work out, and they didn't want to go to do the traditional gym and just, be on elliptical and treadmill. So they came to us, and over time, again, it takes time, just like, it doesn't happen overnight, but over time we were able to help them get fit, drop their weight, to where, like, the doctors were really happy with the result, and they feel not just fit, but they also feel healthy. So we can use mixed martial arts as a fitness tool to get your health better and get fit.
Sounds so exciting. I want to join right now.
Well, let me ask you this, because from someone from the outside, like such as myself looking in, it almost looks like this would be something of a life skill that you're learning versus just hopping on the Stairmaster or the treadmill. I mean, is that kind of? I mean, it looks like you would, particularly as a female, perhaps defensive skills, if you will, or is that just totally off the mark?
No, you're right on track, actually. So we do have it's a lifestyle, not just life skills, but it's a lifestyle, right? We have, for example, in Muay Thai, there are levels that we have testing for, levels 1 through 8. So students progress through the levels, they test for the next level. So there is a sense of improvement in terms of not just fitness level, but skill level. At a certain point, we do have a team that competes both on an amateur level and professionally for both Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. My husband, for example, is a professional Muay Thai fighter. And so that's an option too, if you want to take it that far. For Jiu-Jitsu, there's also belt rankings. So students progress through that. A black belt is basically in Jiu-Jitsu is basically like a PhD, right, in martial arts, because they've spent so many years. I mean, upwards of 5 years, right? It takes to get a
Wow.
black belt, especially, and it's excellent for women, not just fitness-wise, confidence-wise, self-defense skills, especially jiu-jitsu, because it's an art where you start basically on the ground, and a lot of it is focused on your ability to maneuver certain techniques, not so much focused on size of the individuals, but on skill level. So I think that's pretty important as far as getting a lot of women involved.
Right. So if someone is watching this and they're like, wow, this sounds really cool, but I wouldn't know whether, like if I was watching you, I wouldn't know if I wanted to take jujitsu or any other category. How what are your recommendations in terms of where do you start? What or and what's involved in the different levels or the different categories?
So if I what I would recommend always is to trying it out, right? So you go and try it out and see, because it's two different arts, and one is more striking, which is boxing. We use knees, elbows. That's the Muay Thai, right? Clinching. And then we have jiu-jitsu, which starts on the feet, but normally ends up on the ground. And with the jiu-jitsu, some people are not comfortable being too close contact. Some people are not comfortable somebody being on top of them or like smothering them, right? Because kind of like a wrestling on the ground.
Right.
And so it depends on the comfortability. If you can look past that and you see the value that doing these, putting yourself in uncomfortable position until it becomes comfortable, and you see that value in the program and in the arts itself, then definitely over time you will be comfortable. You'll learn to be comfortable with not being comfortable, and both programs are great. Muay Thai is good as well, great for fitness, great for to learn how to strike and defend yourself. But jiu-jitsu is basically, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu are both like, kind of imagine one component of mixed martial arts. There are other arts also, Taekwondo, karate, and they are emerging in mixed martial arts as well. But it's all inclusive of that. But I always tell my students or potential students to try out different things instead of listening to me, because I could be biased, and choose what works for you. And you can start from one, get comfortable, and then you can move to the other one and do both. It's all up to the individual.
Thanks for sharing that. And what are typical classes like? So we sign up, and what's it like the first time we get there?
So our classes, let's say you in our facility, so in our school, the way we do it is we do not sign up anybody just coming off the street and say, hey, let me sign up, but I've never done this. We don't do that. We put them to a trial period. We do a 2 weeks trial and see if they like it first. It's very important that they like it, because we want them to make this, like what Diana was mentioning earlier, a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are not going to learn overnight. This is years and years, and sometimes months and years of your hard work and sweat and your time, and that's how you progress and get better with your skills. So when they come in, we normally say, even if they say go ahead and sign me up for the membership, and I would always say that try out the class first. We want to make sure that you're 100% ready. And we put them in different class. So we'll say try jiu-jitsu and try Muay Thai and try kickboxing and see. And you can choose yourself to see what you like. So instead of us kind of pushing them into a program that they might not be comfortable with.
Then we also have beginner level courses, foundational courses that we recommend. That's where everyone starts for at least 3 months. And then they can move on to the intermediate program, and eventually foundation sparring, which is the introduction to sparring, which is what you see in the ring. And as far as the class structure, it always starts with a little bit of a warm up. They go through some drills, so it starts out a little bit slower, and then they eventually do a little bit of back and forth, right?
So
technique.
So basically, it kind of like if you want to look at the class frame or structure, it looks like 10 minutes warm up, for example, and then 40 minutes of the technique. So whatever that we have in that curriculum, our instructor has in a curriculum for that day or that month, that's when we drill. So we practice, right? And we always say that's the way to get better at something is doing something over and over and consistently. And so in the last 10 to 15 minutes is when we finish out the class strong, like conditioning. Could be push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, and different drills. Sometimes we spar right at the end, especially for jiu-jitsu, to kind of like get you that cardiovascular training as well, not just like doing just the technique. You should be able to put those technique into play when there is like a lot of pressure on you, right? So you're with another person playing chess match. That's what we said.
I love how it sounds like this forces people to get out of their comfort zone and really experience growth on a number of levels. And as I was listening to you, I could imagine doing the cardio, love that, doing the drills. And then I thought to myself, oh, I don't want anyone to hit me.
That's a common like thing. Like when people inquire, they'll say, am I going to get hit in my face? Right. And so it's not, of course, accidents can happen. I'm not going to say it's a contact sports, right? But we don't we have recreational classes and we have like what Diana was mentioning, we have competitors. So there's a separate class for competitors. The competitors still come to recreational classes to get their drilling, to practice their techniques, and then get their conditioning. And then we have a separate fight team, or we say like competition team classes, where we focus on like their competition, like timing things, like, for example, the rounds, sparring in rounds and things like that. Those kind of get a little bit intense. More pressure. And but what I look at when I look at mixed martial arts or any form of martial arts, right, is that imagine you're getting 1 and 2. What I mean by 1 and 2 is basically like if you go to the gym, you get fit, you look good, right? You get fit and you get healthy. But with doing a martial arts, you're not only getting fit, but you're also learning how to defend yourself and learning self-defense at the same time. So it's like a kind of double whammy.
I think it sounds fantastic. I took boxing lessons from a professional boxer, and it was great because I didn't realize how slow I was on my feet. Like you really have to be able to, be light on your feet. But he wasn't hitting me back. He had on this. I was like, yes, don't move your hands at all. So I think this sounds fantastic for so many reasons. Kathy, are you going to sign up today for the 2-week trial period?
Okay. You're the exercise person in this group. Okay. I mean, she is anytime I try and contact her, I'm like, what's going on? Well, I'm on my way to Pilates. I'm on my way to, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I'm still on the couch. So, I mean, in all honesty, this is something that I've really thought about over the years. But just per where we live, which we're both located in Northern Virginia, and just all the things that I hear on the news and particularly like the carjackings, and not to say that anybody's going to want my car. It's just, you never know. Now, I mean, I've watched the police officers tell you what you need to do. Just give them the keys or just get out of the car. I mean, I get all that, but I mean, just the things that, I mean, there's just so many different things that you hear all the time. And I would like to learn how to protect myself because, I mean, I'm just a girl. I'm a girl all the way around. I don't really think I could hurt anybody. So
you have to retrain your brain. You have to retrain your mind. It's all
right.
It's all in your perspective.
Right.
So,
but I mean, technique too. Sorry,
yes.
I need to talk over you.
Sorry, Kathy, you have to come to our facility to see. We have some ladies that, I would put them against any men and they will.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'd love to come see your facility. I would love to. That would be awesome.
There it is. Commitment.
We also have a women's kickboxing program, which is another option for women who don't want to be paired up against other people and they just want to hit a bag. So it's more of a cardio workout, but the instructors are very much technique based. Most of them are fighters, right? They're all competitors, almost all of them. So they understand the technique, and that's the way they teach kickboxing, but it's more of a cardio workout. Yeah.
Such a good workout. Amazing.
That's awesome.
We are going to take a quick break, and we are going to hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be back. And in the meantime, I'm just really excited that you're here and you're providing this information for our audience, because there are so many people out there looking for something to mentally motivate them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I think this is the whole deal here. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, stay with us. We're going to take a break, as I mentioned. First, we're going to play a music video, which is by Tony Moore. He is an award-winning singer-songwriter. He's from the UK, and it's called Never Say Goodbye. Then we'll be back. This process, you mentioned that there's a 2-week period that they can actually come, which I love. I think that's fantastic. No pressure to sign up right away. So tell us more about your location, and then we'll get into your backgrounds.
Sure. So we are located in Arlington, Virginia, which is just over the bridge from DC, even though nobody likes to travel in DC if you're in Virginia. But we're just across the bridge in DC, very close to the Pentagon, thus Pentagon Mixed Martial Arts. We're located in actually Arlington's first firehouse. That was built, I believe, back in the 20s. I think it is. We still have some pictures before that.
1900s. They don't have a record of when it was built, actually.
Yes, it's a very old fire station, so it was quite a challenge to get it up to speed. But we've got really cool garage doors, and we open them up when the weather's nice, and it's just a really great space. It's bright. We were trying to get away from the dark, kind of like testosterone filled, dirty, dingy, like what the misperception was for MMA schools previously. But yeah, it's bright, it's welcoming, it's family oriented, it's very clean. It's a top priority for us, and love to have anyone come by.
Well, let me ask you something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you and I were initially talking about martial arts, I think we got into a conversation about kind of what happened during COVID. And I think I was saying, okay, did that shut you down? But didn't you begin to offer your classes online? Do I have that right?
Yes. Yeah. We had
Okay.
to close. We were required to close by the county for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a big deal because, one, I mean, what do you do with memberships, right? What do you offer? We can't just shut down. I mean, we have a staff of like 15 people whose livelihood, depends on, in addition to our livelihoods, depend on Pentagon MMA. And so it's a big deal. And a lot of students, their mental health also depends on what they do at Pentagon MMA, especially when everything is shut down and they can't leave their house and they can't go anywhere. They can't go to work. They have to work from home. So what we did is, I think it was about a week before we expected the shutdown, we went and bought a whole bunch of tech equipment, a TV, microphones, all that fun stuff. And we started practicing how to teach classes online through Zoom. We got Zoom accounts. We had to retrain all of our instructors to learn how to teach without, it's a combat sport, right? So it takes two. But we had to learn how to teach drills that you can do at home, and make it energetic enough and exciting enough to where the person on the other side of the camera doesn't get bored, which is challenging when you're teaching fitness and martial arts. So we did that. We set up a whole schedule for online classes. We added some free classes to our YouTube page, which has become actually very popular now, with a lot of free classes that you can take. They're like 30, 45-minute classes designed for people who want to work out from home, or also who have a heavy bag. But you don't need a heavy bag for the classes that we were doing through Zoom, because most people don't even have space for that in their homes. So that was really interesting, and people appreciated it. People really were excited about it. Just the fact that you can see somebody's face during such an uncertain and crazy time. We trained the instructors to make sure they remembered people's names. They mentioned people. They did corrections through Zoom, through the camera, make sure they were keeping an eye on everybody the same way they do in person at the facility. And it was actually, it wasn't the same, of course, but it was actually pretty successful.
Yeah. So
it went really well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was challenging for us because we've never done anything like that. But that was, the second best thing, right? If the best is not there, you go for the second best. So best would be going in the facility, meeting people and training. And then the second best would be like, you can follow along workouts, right? So as Diana mentioned, we started creating a lot of YouTube videos for people to, like, YouTube classes to reach people around the world, because India was shut down completely, and there was a bunch of different other countries that were completely in lockdown, like China. All these countries that were locked down, people were not even allowed to go outside, like France. So we started creating these YouTube videos, YouTube classes, to where we were reaching people from all over the world. It's a free classes that we're putting. So it got so popular that now people, like, we're continuing to do it again, like, just to kind of continue to have like one class per week for people around the world to use it, because we believe in martial arts, we believe in mixed martial arts. So we want to spread it as much as we can.
That's awesome. So you're still offering courses online, or is it just the once a week? Or
so right now we have the recorded classes on our YouTube page, but live streamed virtual classes, we ran those for almost a year, even after people came back to our facility. We continued to run them because there were so many people that were very uncomfortable with coming back, wearing masks while working out, especially how intense this workout is very challenging. So a lot of people were not comfortable with that. So we actually recorded all of those live classes, and they're available on our app for all of our students to watch. If there's like a day that they can't come into class or something, they can just turn to that. It's thousands of classes. It's a lot. So we
Wow.
saved all of that, and it's available for all of our students.
That's smart. Yeah, congratulations. That's, I know during the pandemic, I taught power yoga and yoga sculpt on Zoom classes, and it was nice just to see people in the boxes to know that you're not alone. So, and there's some people who are still intimidated to come into facilities. So it's great that you have those options. We've pulled up your website if you would like for us to share that.
Sure. Thank you.
Fabulous. Let's take a peek. The suspense is building. Okay, here we go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to just scroll through. Tell me when you want me to stop.
Yep. So you can see the different programs we offer with kids starting at age 5. We separate them into by ages up until teens, and then they join the adult Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu classes. And there's also women's kickboxing. We do have an after-school program where we pick up children from school, bring them back to our facility. They do their homework, a lot of activities, and then get picked up by the parents around 6, right, when they're ready to go home and tired for the day.
Yeah, you get all that energy out of them before they go home.
Exactly. Yep. And then we also have summer camps. Our summer camp right now is going to be, this year is going to be about 10 weeks.
9 weeks.
9 weeks, and it's almost full. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
If you scroll down a little, like up, is it up or down? Up. Yeah, that same way as you were going. As you see, like with our program is focused on 3 things, right? So it's a martial arts classes, martial arts school, so martial arts education, physical education, and character development. So as you see, discipline and confidence, we're building like character of these kids, that we're kind of like the second voice, right? What I want my children to learn, sometimes, like, someone really that I really respect said that you can't be prophet in your own village. And it's like parents, parents are telling, be polite, do this, you should be courteous, you should have empathy, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's the same voice that you're hearing for kids. So we're that second voice that's saying, these are the things that we have to do, have the discipline, waking up in the morning, making up your bed, doing tasks without parents asking you to do so. That's self-discipline. So these are a lot of things that we talk to kids over and over, and then we try to just project it to them, and we give them tasks to do. And so a lot of kids and parents sometimes email us and message us and say, hey, my child raised his hand during dinner time before talking. Right? And those are things that we like to hear. Of course, we want them to learn martial arts. We want them to that. But overall, what we want them to is a good human being.
So now, Vivek, how did all this start? I mean, were you brought up in this whole arena, or how did this happen?
So I was born and raised in Nepal. So I moved to US in 2000 when I was 14. So in Nepal, my mom was like the one that put me in martial arts, and she always thought, because the area that we grew up in, because like Nepal has caste system, there's a lot of like bullying would happen, right? Higher caste, lower caste, and it's the kids, right? So my mom always wanted to make sure that I'm like physically and mentally strong, because I'm not a big guy. And so she said, I could do any sports, and her whole thing was martial arts was non-negotiable. So if I don't do martial arts, I don't do any sports. So and I hated it in the beginning. When I was 8 years old, that's when I started. So kind of 8 years old, I would hang out with my friends. I don't want to go to martial arts school where like instructor doesn't even know your name, and go train. So that's when I started at 8. And so I moved here at 14. I continued the training. Like I had to stop because of financial reasons. We were new to the new country, didn't know culture, didn't have car. So, and then at 18, I met my instructor here. And so then I started training again with him. And the rest is history. You know, he helped me and he encouraged me to. He made a lot of positive impact in my life, and he helped me get from amateur level to all the way to professional level, where I got to travel and compete and fight and everywhere. So that's what I want to pass it to our students. You know, whatever their goal is whether just to be fit or be the top level fighter, the world champion. We want to be there with them and kind of put like that one brick to their success.
That's fabulous. And we have some pictures as well, which I'd love to just take a look at right now. If you can tell us what we're looking at. Wow.
Yes.
Pretty impressive.
Look like you're in great shape.
Those are like the championship belts. The one that the green, I believe the red one is the US 135 pound Muay Thai belt, the championship belt. And then the other one, the green one was, I think I fought in New Jersey. It was in New Jersey, and I think the state of it's called. I guess tri-state: New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Sorry, so there's three. And then the other one was the one on the right shoulder, all the way in the backside is the one. Actually, one of my first championship that I won in America, and that was in Pennsylvania. And so yeah, that's it.
That is amazing. Congratulations. And how much do those belts weigh typically?
It's pretty, it's kind of heavy. I would say like,
they look
I don't
heavy.
know about pounds, but it's quite, has some weight on it.
Now let's look at this one.
Yeah. So that's this was like you see the microphone on the road.
The lavalier, yeah.
Yeah. So this was, I think we were promoting, trying to promote the online when we went virtual. I think if you look back and kind of blurry, you see a chair there.
Yes.
And that was our studio facing the wall the other way. So kind of telling people, hey, come to the online class. So that was the one that I won the professional title, US Muay Thai title, and that was 4 years ago, and that's my son on my shoulder, and then my one of my friends that's to the left with the Nepal flag.
Amazing. I want to put up this other picture. So in total respect, how do we get legs like that? Okay, what are the tips for legs like that? That is what I want to know.
He grew up in the mountains, so he's got kind of an advantage.
Okay, so genetics are involved, I would assume.
Yeah,
genetics is yes, but like what we did was my instructor used to make us do was a lot of stair work. Exercise stairs in Georgetown. Have you guys been there?
No, I have not. But I know the art museum in Philadelphia. That stairs running up and down there.
So the Exorcist stairs, the movie, the name comes from the movie Exorcist, and so that was our Sunday routine. Was like basically we'd go there and for 2 hours we'd go different drills, but a lot of ups and downs with weights and things like that. Because he believed in like you have to have a strong leg, right? So strong leg means strong base, and I was just genetically, my leg just gets big compared to my teammates. But, we had very strong legs and we focus on a lot of legs in terms of like, having the explosiveness and explosiveness in your kicks and movements. So, so I would say stairs.
And mountains.
I love it.
Well, so, Diana, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, that's okay. So how did you come together? And then what was your plan to open this facility? You mentioned 15 people working for you. That's great. Huge.
So it's, I guess, kind of an interesting story. I am not a lifelong martial artist. I moved to this area after graduating from law school. I moved to Arlington, and I think it was 2008. Yes, that's when we met, 2008. And I had in my mind that I wanted to do Muay Thai. I wanted to do kickboxing. I was pretty active back then before kids, and in shape. And so I found a local martial arts school, like pretty close to where I lived. And he happened to be one of the pretty much the head instructor there. And so that's how I grew to love it. I was working in a law firm at the time, doing litigation, employment litigation, so very long hours. And after a few years, I think at some point, he decided that he left that place, and then he went in-house and did in-home training for about a year or two. At some point, you reach a limit where you have to keep growing. And so one of his dreams was to build a school, his own school. And so it took years to find a location. We started dating probably in 2019. So at some point, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary this year. So we opened in 2012. Officially, we were not married yet. We were just dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, but very serious, obviously. And I still had my job at the law firm. Eventually, I believe it was about 2 years later, we built it up to the point where I could leave my job, obviously take a massive pay cut, but what I got back in return was just so rewarding. So in 2014, I left the firm and I joined him full time.
Oh, that's a great story. I love it.
Yeah, and it's yours. I mean,
yes.
One of the things that what we wanted to do was, because I was working in a martial arts school, because there was no like career path for lifelong martial artists, because like what Diana mentioned earlier, to get a black belt, it takes you years, especially in jiu-jitsu, and to be an expert at anything, right? Yeah, it takes years. So for me, this is like my degree, and then we have instructors that are black belts that's been doing for just like me. And that's they might not have the college education, but they have this, right? So what we wanted to build was that we want to build a company that gives opportunity and career path to people like that like me, that loves the martial arts, and that's what they want to do, teach and pass it along to as many people as we can, and change, help change their lives in positive way. And so that's what our always goal have been since we started, and I feel like we are accomplishing that every day. We with Diana's expertise in corporate, so we kind of we have brought in and a lot of good things from the corporate side, to where providing our employees and our instructors like benefits like health insurance, like 401k and IRA, and life insurance, and many other benefits, with the great pay. And that's what we always focused on. And because I didn't have that opportunity when I was working as a martial artist, because it was always like I got to get a regular job and then in the evening come and teach, to where now we have like 8 full-time staff in a martial arts school.
Wow, that's huge.
It is.
Well,
congratulations. It's fabulous. And
yeah,
you made it through the pandemic in big way too. Sorry, Kathy.
No. What I was going to say is, I mean, it's obvious and abundantly clear that you care so much about the people that work with you. And I mean, I've seen it time and time again. When you invest in your employees, I mean, they feel appreciated and they want to stay. And I think you just get so much more out of them when you are able to level up like that. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, we've come to the end of our show, and it was so fascinating. I wasn't paying attention to the time, but we have another show right after this with Kathy. So I'm going to spotlight you, Diana and Vivek, one more time. And if you can share with our audience, what's the best way to reach you, and who would you like to reach out to you?
The best way to reach us is generally email. As far as trials, you can go on our website and do that online and sign up. And then our staff will be contacting you to get started and get your martial arts journey going. We're pretty easy to reach. I am probably more responsive than my husband. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. We're in Arlington, Virginia, which is actually pretty accessible to most of the Northern Virginia area. Just depends on how far you want to drive. We have students coming in from Maryland, from DC, from Fairfax. Yeah. So yeah.
And there's
Worth the
also the
drive.
virtual.
Exactly. So we have our YouTube page, Pentagon MMA. We've got almost 56,000 subscribers now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I got to bring you back to that. Thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. So you can also check out free classes. So the way he runs them, Vivek, my husband runs them, it's very energetic. It's basically like you're going through a class at home. We have 30-minute options, 45-minute options, and those are all free on our YouTube page.
So I'm going to be looking into that over the weekend. Yes.
See, what did I tell you?
Yeah, make sure you comment and let us know that you did it.
I will. By the way, I love on your website how there are those pop-ups of people who've contacted you. That's really cool. That keeps people really engaged.
Yes. Thank you.
Well done. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, and I'd love to have you on some of our other shows. I'm thinking the power of etiquette and manners when you talked about children and discipline, and also the business show.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys.
Thank
you
guys
for coming on.
Okay.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great show. I love those things that they're doing to inspire people from all ages, and they can work with people across the world. Go to their YouTube channel. This is a fantastic way to take ownership of your physical and mental well-being and push yourself out of your comfort zone. Kathy,
Absolutely.
I'm not talking to you. But
yes, you are. You're calling me out.
Calling you out. Yes, I am. Well, your show is coming up literally in minutes. So I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can just give your contact information and share with people again, I know you already did, but what will you be talking about today on Talking Heads?
Okay, so today on the Talking Head Show, we are going to be showcasing 24 before and after shots of kitchen remodels. So don't change that dial. Don't change that channel. And so you can contact me. I love it when people call me. My number is 703-895-3798. Or you can also email me. It's kathyfulton1965@gmail.com. I'd love to work with you.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right. I'll let you run off to the other studio, and I'll be seeing you shortly.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, whether you're on the live or you're watching us on the replay. I just have a couple of announcements. Yesterday was a great day, huge day. I released my second book, and it became a #1 new release on Amazon. So that's 2 in a row in less than a year. And I know it's all because of all of you out there who are supporting my work. The first book, Behind the Green Screen, is actually for anyone and everyone. It's my journey of how and why I left the corporate world in 2020. And my plan was to focus on life coaching and yoga and meditation, and nobody could pay me. And from there, it just went a different direction. And here we are today. We started out on the radio. I was being interviewed, and it went from there to me taking over the show. We were on Zoom, and now we're on StreamYard, and we have between 20 and soon 30 shows a week that are live. So love for you to go over to Amazon and purchase my new book. It's available in ebook right now, and the paperback should be released tonight. And otherwise, we had a new show start yesterday, which was a lot of fun. It was really amazing to see these women come together. The show's called A Woman's Prerogative, and our panel is from around the world, and They just dove right into some really hot topics, hot issues. And you can watch, as you can see, on Wednesday, depending on where your time zone is. We have a new show starting for men, for men, by men, about men, and it's called Wild at Heart Bonfire Talks. So do join us for that as well. All right, we're signing off for right now. We'll be back in less than 7 minutes for Talking Heads. Thank you so much. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Vivek. We'll be back soon.